Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 3 Yards and a Cloud of Dust NFL podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and with me, as always, my co host, Jonathan.
Hi guys.
And real quick, I know I sound terrible. It is my allergies. The smoke in the area has just been terrible the last several days, really caused it to flare up. So I do apologize for any coughing or sneezing fits I may go through during the episode. I've got some hot tea with honey over here trying to help me get through it. So I appreciate it if you guys bear with me. Before we do anything else, I want to give a big shout out over here to Jonathan, who finally got engaged to his girlfriend Lauren a couple weeks ago. So congrats, man.
Thanks.
So how does it feel to be a almost married man?
It's weird. But we're not here to talk about that.
No, we're here to talk about football. And some exciting stuff happened in the league over the last couple of weeks.
We have
Obviously, the biggest thing, we had the Hall of Fame inductees.
and the Hall of Fame game,
which wasn't so great. But first off, this year we had two classes of the Hall of Fame being inducted on the same night because of the pandemic stuff that went on last year. The Hall of Fame induction ended up being canceled. So they inducted the class of not only 2021 last night, but 2020 as well. So for the class of 2021, we had Peyton Manning, of course, famed quarterback of the Broncos and Colts, famous wide receiver Calvin Megatron Johnson, Charles Woodson, safety for the Raiders and the Packers, John Lynch, safety for the Buccaneers and Broncos, and I believe isn't he the owner of the Niners right now, or is he the GM of the Niners right now?
I think he's the GM.
Yeah. We had Alan, and I'm going to butcher this. I am so sorry. Alan Fencia, guard for the Steelers, Jets, and Cardinals, and then Drew Pearson, wide receiver for the Cowboys, and probably one that was really, really long overdue in being Tom Flores, famous head coach of both the Raiders and the Seahawks.
Oh yeah, that one's been long overdue, and that one should have been brought in a long time ago.
Yeah, and then of course, last but not least, for the class of 2021 was the longtime scout for the Steelers, Bill Nunn.
Which that one doesn't really surprise me.
No. Now getting into the class of 2020, you have Steve Atwater, safety for the Broncos and Jets, famous wide receiver Isaac Bruce for the Rams and 49ers, Harold Carmichael, wide receiver, Eagles and Cowboys, Jim Covert, offensive tackle for the Bears, Bobby Dillon, defensive back, Packers, Cliff Harris, safety for the Cowboys, Winston Hill, offensive tackle for the Jets and Rams, Steve Hutchinson, guard for the Seahawks, Vikings, and Titans, Edgerrin James, that one's been a while coming, running back for Colts, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
Oh yeah.
Alex Karras, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that one as well, defensive tackle for the Lions. You can't pronounce this one wrong. Troy Polamalu finally got in. Obviously he got in last year, but he finally got his part of the ceremony.
But it's like that one should have been in at least a couple years before 2020.
Yeah, his was a no doubt.
Yeah, it's like he was one of the best defenders in the game.
Yeah,
and
not to mention one of the best hairs in the game.
Right?
Gotta love his Head and Shoulders commercials too, though.
Especially Patrick Mahomes now.
Those are good.
Those are awesome.
Those are good. Those are really good. And of course, everybody knows he was longtime safety for the Steelers. Donnie Shell, defensive back, also for the Steelers. Duke Slater, tackle for the Cardinals. And then you have Mark Speedy, defensive end for the Browns, and Ed Sprinkle, defensive end for the Bears. And then you have Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson, two legendary coaches. Bill Cowher, of course, Steelers fame, and Jimmy Johnson, who coached both the Cowboys and your Dolphins.
Yep.
And then rounding out the class of 2020 was George Young, general manager for the Giants. I'm going to butcher another name here, and I'm very, very sorry. Paul Tagliabue, former NFL commissioner.
That's one of the hardest names to really pronounce. I think, if I'm correct, even the announcers butchered that name a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mean to do it intentionally. I am sorry.
That's just a really awkward name, and it is just really hard to pronounce.
Yeah, and then of course the famous founder of NFL Films, Steve Sable, finally got in. You know, without him, I mean, I know.
I thought he was already in.
You think he would be, considering all of his contributions to the NFL.
Right?
I mean, I know one of the things that my dad and we used to love to do all the time was the week leading up to the Super Bowl. They would show on the NFL Network all the old Super Bowl, like they do the not the recaps, but the old NFL stories of the Super Bowls. That was one of our favorite things to sit down and watch leading up to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, without Steve Sable, we probably wouldn't have that.
Nope.
Excuse me. Time to drink some of my tea. Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
That is where.
And then, of course, next up we had what happens every year, the Hall of Fame game, which I think was also canceled last year too. So
Yeah, the Hall of Fame game was canceled last year, so it's been 2 years since the last one, and
I think we could have gone another 2 years without seeing a Hall of Fame game.
yeah,
It was not great.
This one was not.
It was between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, the Hall of Fame game is literally just a glorified preseason game. Of course, this week, with preseason being shortened by a week because they added the extra week onto the regular season. So, instead of one or two teams getting 5 preseason games, now, you have 2 teams who are going to get 4 preseason games, being the Steelers and the Cowboys. The final score of that one was 16-3. And
the bad thing was Dallas didn't score at all after the first quarter.
yeah. I mean, so you didn't. Many of the starters did not play.
Nope.
So this was kind of expected. It was either going to be a really out of hand scoring game, like it was going to be high scoring the whole time, or it was going to be like this.
A
where-
blowout.
Not really a blowout, just kind of ugly and one sided.
Basically, out of reach, basically.
Yeah. So there's really not much more you can say about that. I mean, some of the players look great. A lot of them didn't look all that great. It just happens. It's preseason. This is what it's for.
Yep.
So,
It's all for practice.
yeah. But moving on, we have some news revolving around some injuries and some signings.
And our first piece of news would be Saquon Barkley, who has been activated to start practicing, and today was his first day back to practice.
Yeah, that's really good to hear because the Giants desperately needed him last year. And if I'm not right, he had a bit of a knee injury
He had a knee injury
before he went down with his ACL tear, which is why he wasn't doing anything before he went down with his injury.
Nope, and he hasn't been able to play down or practice since September. So seeing him back out there basically is really good news. The manager has always said though, it's like even with him practicing right now, week 1 is still questionable for him, which is understandable.
Yeah, it's very understandable.
He-
But it's good to hear that he is back on the practice field, at least getting some time in, because with the improvements that the Giants went and made on offense in the offseason, and if they get Saquon Barkley back to full health, then they're going to be really dangerous all around.
And the manager and the crew has actually said that they have not been wanting to rush this injury because they know how severe it is. So they want to try to take it as low as possible to try to get 100% so he can come back stronger than when he went down.
That's good. That's
So
really good.
that's good for us two here and for the Giants.
Yeah, I personally like Saquon Barkley both as a player and a person. I think he's got a great head on his shoulder.
Oh yeah,
So, it's good. Like I said, it is good to hear that he is going to be back.
and he is still a young player, so he can still heal decently quick. So which is a good thing.
Yep.
Getting this injury out of the way early in the career is better than late.
Yeah. Now, next up, we've got some big news for my Raiders.
No.
They signed defensive tackle, all-star defensive tackle, Gerald McCoy. Oh, my God. When I saw that, I had to check at least 5 different sources to make sure this was accurate, and I was not seeing like some kind of photoshopped image of him in a Raiders hat signing the contract. I was like, wait, what? That's insane.
That's a huge pickup for the Raiders.
It is.
It's something that it's a player in a position they desperately needed to fill.
Yeah.
And they did that this offseason just before the preseason.
That is, yeah, they've been working really hard to improve that defensive line over the offseason. They've got some great pickups. You know, obviously McCoy now, Ngakoue earlier. They've really gone all out in trying to upgrade that defensive line and trying to raise themselves out of the cellar from where it was last year.
Yeah, and it would definitely see. I would love to see them in week 1 and 2 and see actually how well this defense is now.
Yeah.
Because from what we saw last year, the Cardinals were non-existent.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully, you know, if the defense can step up and actually take their load of the burden this year, people will stop blaming Carr for everything.
Yeah,
Because it's not Derek Carr's fault.
no, it was always the defense. The defense let off the gas way too much because they didn't have the players or the skills.
Well,
to
that
do so.
and it was, you know, the defense was too young. They kept, you know, falling apart in the second half of the season. So they've got some veteran players who know how to handle themselves. They've got a lot of guys who've been to several Pro Bowls on that defensive now. So
And
yeah,
hopefully,
I'm really hoping for some better stuff coming out of Las Vegas this year.
but with the veterans that they brought in would now help the rookies and young players that they've had that is having issues with the line, which will now help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of
Because-
course, you got to think too. John Gruden's probably on the hot seat this year.
Oh yeah, it's like
The team's been steadily doing better every year under him. Like obviously, that first year was not great at all, but the next year they went 7-9. This past season they went 8-8. So they are improving slightly here and there, but they need to take a big step if Gruden thinks he wants to finish out that 10-year contract of his.
yeah he has to at least touch playoffs.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
has to.
We got to
He
get a
does-
wild card this year.
He doesn't have a choice. Oh no, not even a wild card. If you get a wild card, you have to win that wild card.
Well, yeah, absolutely, of course.
And
but
because
the whole thing
or
is,
else he's gone.
unfortunately, I don't think they're going to get the division this year. That's the whole thing. Just it's going to take a little bit for the Raiders to be able to go toe to toe with the Chiefs every year. Now, I know last year they split, you know, a game apiece. They almost won both games against the Chiefs last year, but we can't expect that to happen every year,
But
especially with how explosive Patrick Mahomes is.
yeah, but we also have to make sure that your line that comes in to face the quarterback does not do what they did against the Dolphins. Because
Yeah.
the Dolphins should not have won that game.
No, they should not have.
That
And the
was,
fact that you, being a Dolphins fan, are saying that says something.
because that one play is what set them up to win that field goal.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. That was completely Arden Key's fault. He should not. He's got to know better than that. You know, he'd been with the team for for several years, at least 4 or 5 years. You can't do that stuff.
No.
That was just completely. That was terrible. So yeah, I'm hoping stuff like that doesn't happen. Of course, you know our teams are going to be playing again in Vegas this year. Unfortunately, I looked at some tickets. They're just way too expensive. They're way too expensive on what we make right now.
Well, with my schedule, no.
Yeah. Plus,
But-
I work on Sundays, so
But on other words,
Yeah.
moving on, we're going to my Miami, with Xavier Howard is staying with the Dolphins.
really now.
He is actually receiving a $1 million Pro Bowl incentive and a $3.5 million additional incentive as part of his new deal for this season. There are still 4 years left in his 5-year, $75.25 million extension that he signed in 2019. It's also to believe this is the first time in NFL history a player with 4 years left on his deal has received added money and guarantees.
Wow. Yeah, that's. You really don't hear something about. You really don't hear anything like that.
No, and That's huge because you
Could you
saw,
say it's insane?
stop doing it. Because this is insane because he already had
We'll
don't
explain a
judge me.
little.
Don't judge me. No, it's like because this is just completely crazy because you would never expect something like this to happen.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it almost it sounds like he basically did what Aaron Rodgers did, but to a higher degree and a lot faster.
Oh yeah, but Aaron Rodgers, he was being a complete 5-year-old. Xavier wasn't. He actually put out that he just wanted to get out, and he also already talked with the team already, and the team actually tried to work with him.
Well, okay. But I mean, this is good news for the Dolphins because
yeah.
they could not afford to lose somebody of his caliber.
Oh no. And next on our list is Darius Leonard with a new deal.
What new deal?
He has actually signed a 5-year deal worth $99.25 million, which $52.5 million all guaranteed.
What? I'm sorry. What the hell?
And this will make it even funnier.
I thought. Wait, hold just real quick though.
the-
With all the pandemic stuff that went on last year, I thought teams were supposed to have less money this year. Where the hell is all this money coming from?
Remember, they raised it this year.
No, they dropped the salary cap dropped this year. That's why this whole big thing about Aaron Rodgers was a big thing.
But here's what's funny. With this new contract, it now puts Leonard as the highest paid NFL linebacker in the league today.
So now he's beating out Fred Warner of the Niners?
Yes.
Holy crap.
But remember, Fred Warner had, a $98 million deal, if I'm correct?
It was something close to 100 million. I think it might have been like a 95.
Yeah. This is a $99.25 million deal with $52.5 million guaranteed, which is insane. That
is insane.
This is more than half his contract guaranteed.
Oh, jeez.
So he could literally leave after 2 years, and no, he gets $52.5 million no matter what.
Well, good on him, I guess. I mean, as I said last episode, no one deserves that kind of money. I'm sorry. Nobody needs that kind of money.
Apparently this linebacker does.
I'm at a loss for words. Oh my God, where is these teams coming out with all this money? I thought they were, like I said, supposed to have less money this year because of the pandemic stuff.
But they dropped it last year, but they raised it back up a little bit this year.
Yeah. Ugh.
But there was one.
Well, no, because it was supposed to drop this year because of the loss in revenue of fans not being in the stands last year. It went up last year before the season started, but then because everybody had all the restrictions where they couldn't have fans in the stands, or they could only have so many fans in the stands, teams were literally losing money every game.
I don't know that. I'm just reporting what I read.
Yeah. Jesus.
But that is just crazy to me.
Okay, but we're not done with the Colts yet. That leads us into our last little bit of news here.
Yep.
Both Carson Wentz, their new superstar quarterback, and their star lineman Quentin Nelson are going to be down for anywhere from 5 to I believe it's their right foot.
And that is definitely gonna hurt the Colts.
Yeah. Now, Quentin Nelson has already undergone his surgery. Everything is looking like it went well. No complications, nothing like that. I believe Carson Wentz has also undergone his surgery. I think they both underwent their surgeries this last Tuesday, last week.
But this would mean that the earliest they would come back would be week 9.
Well, here's the thing. No, because 5 weeks, remember. So that's the 3 preseason weeks plus the first 2 weeks. That's the earliest they could come back. However, Quentin Nelson has already said that he's looking forward to being ready by week 1, which might be a little pushing it, If he can do it, then that's going to be all the better for the Colts, just because of right now, literally their backup quarterbacks are nothing really to really that you want to try and meddle with, because right now listed as their second string quarterback is Jacob Eason, and I don't think he's ever played a down in the NFL.
No.
At least not in a regular season game.
Oh no! So having him stall would definitely be a interesting play.
Yeah.
But
Now they
here's
do
the thing.
have Brett Hundley listed as a backup, but right now they have him listed as their fourth string quarterback. So I don't know if they're just not willing to take a chance with having Brett Hundley play in the preseason in case they need him to take over for Wentz the first couple of weeks of the regular season.
I think that's what they're more likely going to do.
Which wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, Hundley's not the greatest quarterback. He's not even a backup on the level of, say, Nick Foles, but I think he could probably handle the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how long both of these guys are out. Hopefully, it's not longer than it has to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can come back after the 5 weeks or even sooner if possible. I hope they don't try to push it.
I really hope they don't push it, because I have a feeling if they do push it, a bigger issue will pop up.
Yeah, possibly needing to have to go back in for more surgery.
Yeah.
So,
And that will
that'll
that will
ruin
mo-
Wentz's season.
ruin wins
And
the
Nelson's.
season, and it will probably take both them out. Take both them out, even if they make playoffs.
Yeah,
Because-
I mean, honestly though, if they're both out, I don't see them making playoffs.
Oh no!
If they're both out for an extended period of time during the regular season, they're not making playoffs, because Quentin Nelson is the anchor of that line.
Oh yeah, and
He's quite possibly the best. I would argue to say he is the best non-center lineman in the league right now.
oh yeah, and that it's like, unless the quarterback, the second string, can really pull multiple wins in a row out of his ass.
Yeah, which I don't see happening.
Yeah, but with the weapons that they have now, he might be able to, but probably not consecutively though.
Well, here's the thing. We also have no idea how the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to play with
Trey Lance.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, Trevor. Sorry, Lawrence.
We also, we don't really know what's going on with the quarterback situation in Houston. Houston did not play well last year with Deshaun Watson in. Deshaun Watson played great. The rest of the team did not.
yeah,
And of course, the Titans are pretty much still the favorite to run away with the division.
I know Deshaun Watson still also wants out.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. He probably won't play another down for Houston.
Oh no, he will wait until, because with how young he is, and he's already proven himself to the league. It's just a matter of time of someone picking him up.
Yeah.
Because I believe he only has one more year left on his contract. I will have to double check that one, but
Yeah,
I believe it is.
don't take his word on that one. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that division, and then of course our thoughts and prayers going to Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz for a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see Wentz play for the Colts. I want to see if he can do as good or better than Phillip Rivers.
oh yeah, I'm curious about that one.
So this is a good opportunity for Wentz. Everybody was kind of wondering what was going to happen to him after last year in Philly. So I want to see. I just wish the best for him. I like him as a player. I like him as a person.
So we'll definitely have to wait and see, kind of just seeing how all this plays out now.
Yeah, and we're going to be keeping our eyes and ears on the news and seeing what else happens, what ends up developing with his surgery and recovery status. But with that, that is about all the news we have for the week. We do have one more special announcement to make before we sign off. And I think it's not 100% official yet. We haven't signed any paperwork or put anything in yet. But we do want to announce the formation of Dragon Song Studios, our very first production company, which this podcast going forward, once everything's official and we have all the paperwork that we need, this podcast will be the first production of Dragon Song Studios. So we're really excited about that. All three of us here, me, Jonathan, Kyle, we're really excited about that going forward. We've already got ideas for shows that we want to do with the production company. We've got plans going forward, so we'll be doing a few things here within the next couple of months to get that more official. So keep your ears and eyes open for that one.
And I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Same.
This is a new and very exciting chapter for the three of us. Kyle, any words? Want us to pass you a mic?
I think it's just gonna be really cool once you guys figure out when you guys are gonna see. It's gonna be looking really cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
All right. So with that, that's all we have for today. We do have our divisional breakdown coming up, so stay tuned for that. We should start to have those out within the next week or two. We will have them all out before the regular season starts.
Yep.
So, like I said, keep your eyes out for that one. And with that, I guess until the next one, we'll see y'all later.
Bye.
See ya.